Good day, I'm Engineer Ejike Ejua. I'm welcoming you to our online tutorial on software development. Kindly watch our tutorial. We shall be looking at control flow statements, if/else, switch and loops. Instructor/coordinator, Engineer Ejike Ejua, powered by Mathematical Global Services. Objective: to enable learners to understand and apply control flow statements in JavaScript, such as if/else, switch, and various types of loops. For, where, do, to control the execution part of their programs and handle decision-making and repetition effectively. Introduction. In programming, control flow statements allow us to decide which code runs and how many times it runs. JavaScript provides structures like if/else, switch and loops, for while, do while, to control program execution. These are essential for making decisions and performing repeated tasks automatically. Control flows determines the order in which statements are executed. Main categories. 1. Decision-making statement. Choose between different paths. If/else, if/else, switch. Then we have loops, repetition statements. Repeat actions multiple times. Then we have for loop, while loop, do while loop. At our coding environment, we will look at the if/else example, the doc type HTML. Then under it, we have our HTML open tag. Then under HTML open tag, we have our head open tag. Then we have our title open and close tag. Then in between it, we have our JavaScript control flow example. Then under it, we have our script code linking our HTML and JavaScript. Then we now have our control-flow.js, that is the folder that is containing our JavaScript code. Then we now close our heading. Then this is our body open tag. Below it we have our h1 open and close tag. In between it we will now write JavaScript control flow demo. Then we have our h2, then stating the if and else example. Then below it we have our JavaScript code button on click, check number, button close. This check number is what we display on the web page. Then we have our paragraph ID is equals to output. This is the code that interacts with the JavaScript. Below it, we have our external link code, as you can see on the screen. Then we now close our body, close our HTML code. Then we will now move to the JavaScript coding environment. At the JavaScript coding environment, we now have our comment with double backslash if/else example. Below it, we have our function check number. Then we now have let number is equals to prompt. Then enter a number. Please watch the code very well. I'm not reading everything in the code because we have quotations mark, column, and the rest on it. I'm just reading out the important things So take note of the small codings that you can see on the screen, that is the commas, the inverted colon, and the rest of them. Then we now have number is equals to number, semicolon. We now have if number is greater than 0, document.get element by id output dot inner HTML, the number is positive. Else, if number is less than 0, document.get element by id output dot inner HTML, the number is negative. Else, document.get element by id output dot inner HTML, the number is 0. So let's save our code, go to the web browser and refresh it. You will see our H1 code, JavaScript control flow demo, then our H2 code, 1, if else example, if slash else example. Then when you click at check number, it will pop up a dialog box. When you put 2 as an example and click OK, it will now display or write the number is positive. Then when you check the number button again and write -4 and click OK, it will write the number is negative. Then when you click again and write 0 and click OK, it will display the number is 0. Each example. So let's move to our coding environment. We have our doc type HTML as usual. Under it, we have our open HTML tag. Below it, we have our head. We have our head open code. Then below it, we have our title code. In between it, we have JavaScript control flow. Then we now have our code, the script code. Then we close our heading. Then we have our body open tag. We have our H1 code. In between it, we now have our JavaScript control flow demo. Then we have our H2 stating the switch example. Then below the H2, we have the switch example. Below it, we have the button code, button on click, day message, show day. Then we have our paragraph ID that is interacting with the JavaScript environment. Then we have our external JavaScript code, as you can see displayed on the screen. Then you close your body, then also close your HTML tag. Then save your work. Then let's move to our JavaScript coding environment. As you can see displayed on the screen, then we have our comment with backslash switch example. Then below it we have our function day message. So below the day message we have let day is equals to new date dot get day. Then we have the comment Sunday is 0, 1 is Monday. Then we have let message is equals to 2 quotation mark. Then we have switch day case 0. Case 0 message is equals to, in parentheses, today is, in quotation mark, today is Sunday. Then you break it. Then you have case 1 message, today is Monday. You also break it. Then you now have case 2 message, today is Tuesday. Then you also break the code. Then that is how you run it down to today is Saturday. Then we now have default message invalid. Then we now have our writing code document.get element by id output dot inner HTML is equals to message. Then we now save our work. Then we now go to the web browser and refresh it. So you will see that the H1 write-up JavaScript control flow demo is still there. Then this is where you find is this H1 code here. That is what is displayed. The one that below it is the H2 code. As you can see here, switch example. Then when you click show day, it will show you the exact day as of the day of this recording. Today is Thursday. It was on Thursday that I was doing this recording. So that's why you're seeing today is Thursday display on the screen. The next code is the for loop example. Then as usual, we'll move to our HTML coding environment. We have our doc type HTML. Then below it we have our HTML open tag. Below it we have our head open tag. Then below the head open tag we have our title code. Then in between the title open and close tag we now write JavaScript control flow demo. Then below it we have our JavaScript code making the JavaScript environment with the HTML. Below it we close the head tag. Then we have our body open tag. Below it we have our H1 open and close tag with the code. Then below it we have our H2 code. Below the H2 code we have our JavaScript button code. Then what we see displayed on the screen is run for loop. Then we have our paragraph ID code. Then below it we have our JavaScript code. Then you now close your body. Then close your HTML. Let's move to the JavaScript coding environment. We have our comment with backslash for flow example. For loop example. Below it we have function for loop example. Let result is equals to quotation mark open and close. We have a semicolon for let I is equals to 1 where I is less than or equals to 5. Then now have I plus plus. The result plus is equals to number plus 1. Then we have plus. Then B at the I is meaning move to the next line. Then now have our code document that get element by ID output inner HTML is equals to results. So we have to save our work. Go to your web browser and refresh it. Then you will see as usual our JavaScript control flow demo, which is H1. Then you also see our H2 statement for loop example. When you click run for loop, it will display number 1, number is equals to 2, number is equals to 3, number is equals to 4, and number is equals to 5, because we say that it should not be greater than 5. Let's look at while loop example. So as usual, we go to our HTML coding environment. We now have our dot type HTML. Below it we have our HTML open tag. Below it we have our head open tag. Then we now have our title code, as you can see on the screen. Then we also have our script code linking the two environment. Then the control flow-flow.js is the JavaScript file name. Then below it we have a head close tag. Then we also have our body open tag. Below the body open tag we have our H1 code. Then below the H1 code we also have our H2 code. Then we have our button code that is showing run while loop. Then we now have our P paragraph code, which is showing that P space ID is equals to output. This is the ID that we are fetching at the JavaScript side. Then we also have our external JavaScript linking code. Then we need to close our body, then close a HTML tag. Then we now move to our JavaScript section. Then at the JavaScript file, we now have our comment, as you can see in the screen. Then we now have function while loop example. Then we have our code let count is equals to 1. Then we now have let result is equals to double quotation mark. Then we now have our while count is less than or equals to 5. Then we also have our code for result plus or equals to count plus br. The br here is showing that the code should move to the next line. Br here is that the statement of the next code should move to the next line. Then that means count plus should be in the next line. Then we now have our write-up document.getElement by ID output.inner HTML is equals to result. So we're telling the browser to display a result. So we will now save our work, then go to the web browser and refresh it. Then you will now see our H1 write-up as usual. And we also see our H2 write-up while loop example. Then when you click at run while loop, it will put for us count 1, count is equals to 2, and have count 3, count 4. It will stop at count 5 because we say that it should not be greater than 5. Do while loop example. So let's go to our HTML coding environment. We have our doctor HTML as usual. Below it we have our HTML open class, HTML open tag. Below it we have our head open tag. We have our title code, as you can see on the screen. Below it we have our script code too. Then you now close our head. Then we come to the body. It's our body open tag. Then we have our H1 code as usual, stating what we are doing. We have our H2 stating the type of example we are in, do while loop example. Then we have our button code, our JavaScript button code. Then we have our ID code, P space ID is equals to output. Then we also have our script code. We close the body, close our HTML. Then let's move to our JavaScript side. This is the code. Then and our JavaScript coding environment, we have our comment say do while loop example. Then we have our code function do while loop example. Function do while loop example. Let count is equals to 1. And then we now have the next one. Let result is equals to double quotes. Then we now have do. Then in between the curly bracket, we have result plus or equals to count. Then we have plus count plus the BR there is right. The next code should be below. Then we now have count plus plus. Then we have while is equals to count is less than or equals to 5. Then we now have our code for writing document.getElement by ID output. Document.getElement by ID output dot inner HTML is equals to result. Then let's save our work. Then we'll now go to our web browser and refresh it. Then you will see that our H1 code is still there, JavaScript control flow demo. Then our H2 do while loop example. Then when we click at run do while, then you see it has started the counting, started from count 1, count 2, count 3, count 4, and count 5. Explanation of the code. if slash s checks a condition, runs one block if true, another if false. Switch compares a value against multiple cases, useful for many choices. For loop, repeat code for a set number of times. While loop, repeat code while a condition is true, checks before running. Do while loop, similar to while loop, but runs at least once before checking the condition. Summary. Control flow statements guide the program's execution path. If slash else handles binary decisions. Switch simplifies checking multiple cases. For, while and do while handle repetitions. Choosing the right statement makes your code efficient, readable, and logical. In the next video, we will explore introduction to DOM, access and modify web page elements. Thank you for watching our tutorial.
Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, share and comment for one-on-one training on software development and affiliate marketing, or if you wish we build your website for you, kindly contact us on 080-3642-2829. We also partner with Azinonet Limited, African First Digital Contributory Scheme, where we show you how to raise capital for that business of your dream. Thank you. May God bless you all.